41. From September, learning a foreign language will be compulsory for children from the age of 7. But the Confederation of British Industry says that schools should look beyond the popular choices of French and Spanish.
Their survey of employers found that while European languages were the most in demand, more and more businesses now need workers who can speak Arabic and Mandarin. So should more pupils be encouraged to learn those languages, and how practical would that be for schools?
We're joined now by Catherine Cheetah, who teaches foreign languages, and James Kent from Kent, a Mandarin speaker whose language skills have been essential in his career. Just making sure we're getting the names right. Forget about, we're not going to try the languages, we'll just get the names right first. Catherine, it's interesting. So children from September, they're going to be learning foreign languages from the age of 7.
Yes.
And I suppose many people will be thinking, tough, but perhaps it will give them more of a base, more of a grounding for learning other languages other than the common European languages we're taught, such as Mandarin, as James has done, when we get older.
Yes, I think that's right, Nago. I think most schools teach French as their first choice of foreign language in primary schools, but German and Spanish are also very popular indeed. And I think we have to look at this as a solid base for learning, so that when children move on to secondary school, they know how to learn a language, and then they have more options open to them. And I think it's very important that UK citizens start off with a European language, but have the option of adding languages such as Mandarin and Arabic later on.
James, you didn't pick up Mandarin until later on, right? You'd left school, you were on your way to university. Do you think, so you're one of a relatively small number of people still who speak the language in this country. Do you find that it helps you? Has it helped you in your career already?
Well, certainly I manage Team China for People First, so we recruit for Chinese speakers for British companies, international companies, Chinese companies, and more so, especially since the turn of the year, there's been a real spike in demand for people that are European or British that have Mandarin as a second language.
Can you meet that demand though? Have you got the supply of people who speak the language?
It's certainly growing, I think, even from the early days that I started working in recruitment, but it would still be useful from a selfish point of view to have more candidates coming through that have got those language skills.
Catherine, do you think it's going to be sold on as essential for business in the future? We hear this, business groups saying that they need people who speak more foreign languages more fluently. The world is becoming smaller, more accessible. Can't avoid it, can we?
No, I think it's essential, absolutely essential. I think UK citizens really need to have a European language as a second language and another language. Why not say we all need to have at least 3 languages?
There's still almost a belief, though, that really, when you travel around the world, forget about business, when you travel around the world, most places do speak English, or can communicate, at least in pidgin English to us, so we can perhaps feel a little bit lazy.
You're right, Nago, but I think that communication is about a lot more than simply knowing how to translate words. It's knowing how to behave. It's having that element of intercultural understanding, which is so important, and which can only really come through learning another language. And I think when we have the opportunity to learn another language, it helps us to see our own culture, our own identity and our own language through a different set of eyes, and to appreciate it even more. So I think it's essential to learn a language.
Just want to ask James one short one in a minute, but if you can give me a quick answer, Catherine, to this. With respect to the teaching profession, I don't wish to impugn it in any way, but is there the skill level within the teaching profession to teach Mandarin or Arabic?
There is, but not necessarily in great numbers at primary. I think if we're looking at primary, we need to be... The biggest skill base amongst teachers is in French, German and Spanish. There are some speakers of Mandarin and Arabic. My concern is for the children that if we start them off with lesser taught languages in primary, I would want to see the children having the opportunity to continue and not to have a closed pathway. So if we want to start them off with Mandarin in primary school because we have the facility...
Yeah, don't just do it for a gimmick. You've got to give them a route through.
You must give them a route through.
Is it hard, James, Mandarin?
Oh, certainly, and I still feel like some days I feel completely fluent, other days it certainly feels like there are still challenges, but it will be something that I enjoy learning and will be learning for the rest of my life.
When you compare yourselves to other potential candidates for jobs or your peers, do you feel that you're at an advantage?
An advantage, sorry.
Advantage, yeah.
Certainly, yes, yeah, and even with obviously my role as a recruitment consultant, we'll see candidates get a job because they'll have a European language or Mandarin as an advantage, and I think especially nowadays on the international kind of job market scene, there are candidates coming through that have got their mother tongue, but then because they've been learning English from an early age, they've got English at a fluent level as well. And I think then, compared against a graduate that's just got English, obviously that other candidate's going to be the winner.
Catherine, a very quick one. Is it too late for Roger and I?
It's never too late, Libby. Never. Go for it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine and James. Thank you very much.
Signing up for Night School Club as well.
We can go together. It's about that, eh?
Thank you.
Time now, 8:47.